A new wave of grassroots action is taking place across the country, and that may be just the beginning of what's shaping up to be a summer of action on this issue. Today, more than 70 pro-democracy organizations, including the grassroots protest group Indivisible, announced a new coalition to mobilize voters in support of the For the People Act during Congress's summer recess.
You can feel the momentum all across the country, the energy and the commitment to pass the For the People Act. And this week, Indivisible and our partner organizations are taking that energy to the next level. Let's talk about it. My name is Pablo, and this is Indivisible Weekly. Thanks for joining us. This is a huge week here at Indivisible and across the movement to save our democracy. As MSNBC's Ali Velshi mentioned at the top of the show, we have officially launched our Deadline for Democracy campaign. And that's not just a flashy name. It is an honest assessment of where we stand in the fight to save our democracy. And where we stand right now is that the deadline to pass the For the People Act, the deadline to save our democracy, is now, this summer. It's all happening. And that's why we're launching this movement-wide, all-hands-on-deck campaign to get the For the People Act passed in July. Now, I know what you're thinking. July is literally next month. It seems almost impossible. But not only is it possible, it is our best shot to pass S1. And to do that, we're organizing from coast to coast during the July 4th recess, which starts in less than 2 weeks on June 28th. Now, we're gonna dig a little deeper into what this campaign is about later in the episode, but I wanna give you a few critical to-do list items right at the top, because we really have no time to waste. Number 1, the Deadline for Democracy campaign is live. It's active, it's happening, and we need you to get involved. So head on over to our brand new website, deadlinefordemocracy.org, where you can learn everything you need to know about this campaign. And then find an event near you, sign up, and write it down in your calendar so you don't forget. And if there aren't any events near you, sign up to host one today. And lastly, it's important to understand the context around this campaign and what's happening on Capitol Hill. So make sure you check out Indivisible's Medium post on the current legislative battle around the For the People Act. Yes, including Joe Manchin and the filibuster. These are things you can do right now as our entire movement gets ready for June 28th. And you'll find links for all of this in the description below. Now, I know the timeline and the context around the Deadline for Democracy might seem a bit overwhelming. After all, July is next month. But let's dive a little deeper into why this is the moment to pass democracy reform and why this campaign is so important. So let's start with what we know. We know that July is the deadline to pass the For the People Act. How do we know that? Experts tell us that in order for the For the People Act to take effect in time for the 2022 elections, it needs to pass by this fall. We also know that when the House leaves for the long summer recess at the end of July, they won't fully return until September 20th. And when they do return, we know that Democrats will face a massive legislative time crunch to pass a bold recovery package, a federal budget, and much more. So basically, they've got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. And there's a real risk that democracy reform could just fall off the agenda. All of this points to one clear political reality. If the For the People Act does not pass in July, there's a good chance it will not pass this Congress. So that's one thing we know. We also know that Congress does not act unless we push them to act. Our movement has been around long enough to know that Congress has never really done anything hard unless we've pushed them to do it. They are, unfortunately, very willing to kick this can down the road. And that's why we need to pressure them in this critical moment, to be aggressive, to overcome the filibuster, and to pass the For the People Act. And our role here is crucial. Because if the public isn't mobilized for something, if the media isn't covering it, most of all, if there isn't a deadline, Congress probably won't do it. So we need to make all of those things happen. Right now, in this very moment of the legislative fight, we need drama. We need media attention. And we need wide-scale public pressure. Not in September, not in 2022, right now, in the weeks leading up to the final showdown in July. And that's what Deadline for Democracy is all about. That's why we and our partners have set up this website, to give you all of the resources that you need to make the most of this critical moment. So visit deadlinefordemocracy.org right now, get involved, make a difference, and help us save our democracy. Because the deadline is now. Thanks so much for watching this week's episode of Indivisible Weekly. As I mentioned, we have some critical resources linked in the description below. Make sure you check those out, like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check back here next week for a brand new episode of Indivisible Weekly.